Welcome to the virtual Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lake Norman. Let us begin with the recording of hymn number 361, a UU favorite. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Greetings, everybody. We're going to do Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Take care.
Our fellowship walks diverse paths to find meaning and purpose, but we are united by our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all, and by the commitment to express our faith through acts of compassion and justice. My name is Sandy McFeely, and I've been an active member of the congregation since 2013. We are all still trying to master this new format for a welcoming and inspiring service. Please forgive any glitches as we slowly climb the learning curve. We start our service and other UU activities by lighting a chalice. Oops. Our chalice lighting words today are from Christine Robinson. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker today, Reverend Pat Jobe. You probably already know that Reverend Jobe will be joining our congregation on August 1st as our new part-time minister. His previous ministries include growing the Greenville, South Carolina Fellowship, working on important social justice issues, which work included a couple of arrests during public protests. Reverend Jobe is our kind of guy. He will talk with us today about imagining a future, including the kind of legs to put under our visions for that future during this time when we are together mainly through the magic of electrons and not yet the in-person smiles and hugs we look forward to. We are so grateful he is with us today. To get ourselves ready to hear from Reverend Jobe, let's consider the ancient words from the book of Proverbs. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And let us consider also the much more recent words of our friend Henry David Thoreau. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put the foundations under them. And now a mood-lifting UU hymn, Now Let Us Sing. which will be followed by our speaker, and then by Mike Alec, our musician, who will give a musical reflection of the lesson today.
It is the curse of ministers. We talk too much. The other night I was reading to Gabriel from Barbara Brown Taylor's delightful book, An Altering the World. She was saying how spiritual hunger cannot be satisfied by talk. Suddenly I became aware that there was laughter coming from the other end of the couch. Gabriel was laughing at Dr. Taylor making fun of ministers who talk. But you're expecting me to talk today on this video. So at the risk of violating the quest for feeding spiritual hunger, I will talk. Mark Twain said he once considered becoming a clergyman, but he found that it required a religion, and he had none. And he also said that the ministry is the ecstasy of presumption. That's not the last time you'll hear me mention Twain's commentary on ministers. We enjoy the ecstasy of presumption. I want to begin our consideration of visioning in a time of quarantine by quoting the lyrics to one of our hymns, number 298 in our hymn book, Wake Now My Senses by Thomas Michelson. He was a UU minister who served a number of our congregations and only passed in the last few weeks. His beautiful words come to us not only from our hymn book, but also from a story for all ages that was told by Ann Harrison at the Bluffton congregation. Michelson took an old Irish hymn, Be Thou My Vision, and transformed it into a deeply Unitarian Universalist hymn, an affirmation of who we are and what we seek to do in the world. The first verse reads, Wake now my senses, and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving, as love shows. In a distant and transcendent deity, but rather in the earth itself. As we feel the deep power of being in all, we get a hint of not only what is present, but what is possible. What is possible for Lake Norman? Isn't it intriguing to be part of a congregation that draws its name from a lake, a body of water, a body of life-giving substance that fills the land beneath it with an even surface? A flat surface of water that lifts all boats and buoy flotation devices of all, regardless of race, creed, color, national origin, disability, or sexual orientation. Anytime our vision falls short of equality, we can just look out at Lake Norman and remember the water that supports all that floats be they yachts or canoes. If we're going to practice visioning, the deeply spirited practice of watching the movies in our heads and hearts, rather than the movies outside of our heads and hearts, we've got to work at it. It's not something we can give over to the culture. This is tough in our present time. The culture wants to fill the movie screens of our times with images of politics and war and disease. We can't let that be our vision. We cannot ignore the culture's vision altogether, but we do well to pull back, to find quiet places within our homes and our hearts to create our visions of engagement with things like writing postcards to voters, standing among peaceful protesters, even attending video worship services on Sunday morning, featuring a minister who talks and talks and talks. Consider the second verse of Reverend Mickelson's hymn, "Wake now my reason, reach out to the new, join with each pilgrim who quests for the true, honor the beauty and wisdom of time, suffer thy limit, and praise the sublime." Again, he's hoping to wake us up to that which is right in front of us, that which we might discern by our reason, our love of beauty, our wisdom. While the life of the Spirit cannot be totally hemmed in by reason and thought, it is important to apply reason to the work at hand. Is our vision for this congregation, for the communities we serve, for the work of peace, social action, racial harmony, embracing all kinds of sexual orientations and identities, is that vision reasonable? Are we reaching for work we can do well, enjoy, and feel fulfilled by? As Reverend Mickelson encourages us to awaken our reason, is he encouraging us to think deeply about the vision we have for our congregation and work in this community? My ministry has often been about teaching creative visualization. I once tried to teach it to a 5-year-old boy. He told me that he wanted to own a horse. I said, "Well, you need to see yourself on that horse." He thought about it for a moment and he said, "Is there a mirror on that horse?" It's not an easy lesson to teach and learn. We aren't accustomed to being told we can create our own visions, especially in this media-soaked culture. Television, movies, internet videos, you name it. The images are literally countless and available at the touch of a button or a mouse pad on a computer. I noticed the irony of my talking about this on a video that you're watching this morning. Watching as 4 church services on Sunday morning. When I first discovered YouTube, I watched video of Gandhi and E.E. Cummings. There is just so much out there. Poets, preachers, motivational speakers, scientists, sages, and the music. Oh my goodness. The vast supply of great music. But please, please, pull back. Pull back and find quiet in your own heart and watch that mirror on that horse. See yourself doing the work of this congregation. See yourself loving the joy of service. I know many of you already do, but run that movie one more time and then run it one more time. It is so easy to lose heart, especially when we are socially distancing, when more madness than usual feels as though it is afoot in the world. Here's an example. Please think for just a moment about the women, the American women, many of whom were Unitarians, who went to an anti-slavery conference in London. They were refused to be seated because they were women. What movie did they watch in their mental movie house? What visions did they see? Could they have imagined the world we live in 172 years later? They came home and met at Seneca Falls, New York, and began the work of women's rights in the United States. when they were beaten, jailed, and force-fed during hunger strikes? Could they have imagined that one day 26 women would serve in the United States Senate and 101 would serve in the U.S. House? When we have filled out postcards encouraging voters in North Carolina, can we imagine elections that result in more justice, more equity, more peace, and more freedom in some future United States? Can we imagine a lake like Lake Norman that supports all boats, regardless of size? Visioning is the work of seeing something before it comes into being. Visioning is the work of seeing something sometimes that looms far into the future and sometimes in the next few seconds. When you sat down to write those postcards, you knew where your pen and stamps were. You knew where your addresses were and the names of the people you had to write. It only took minutes to gather the tools to bring that vision into fruition. Changing the electoral realities of our governments will take a little longer. But can you doubt that there is a relationship between those two activities? Okay, I'm almost done with my talk. This process is so simple, and people who study it say it is going on all the time. We are always living up to our expectations. We are always following the visions we see in our minds. We are always seeing the horses that live in that mirror. It feels as though our minds are the victims of everything happening around them. But if that were true, how come some people rise to the occasion and other people fall prey to discouragement and stunted dreams? If we did not have some agency, some ability to affect our own fates, why would we even get out of bed in the morning? You will hear me speak often of my late great friend Tommy Higgs. He passed in 2017. He passed at 63 years old after spending 54 years dealing with the impact of muscular dystrophy on his body. He started using a wheelchair at 23 years old, but did not collect his first disability check until he was 56. He was a substitute teacher, an insurance salesman, a therapist, and he owned 2 businesses. He refused to let his disease define him. When he was asked by a friend going through a divorce with 3 small children how she might survive, he said, "Put your feet on the floor every morning." That advice is particularly poignant when we remember that in order to put his feet on the floor every morning, he had to be transferred to a wheelchair. A vision is what I am recommending to you every morning. Whether you need to see yourself on a horse or in an active, engaged congregation doing the work of social justice, awaken your senses to a vision. See yourself doing the work at hand. See yourself feeling good about the work at hand. Don't be like a dear friend of mine who helped paint the women's shelter in Marion, North Carolina. As our paintbrushes went back and forth, he said to me, "I'm afraid there are 2 of me. There is the one of me that said, 'Yes, I'll come over and give a Saturday to painting the women's shelter.' And then the other one had to actually show up and do the painting." He said, "That second one of me is a little bit mad at that first one of me." Don't be like that. Make your vision and the desires of your heart match up. Make your vision not only the good work needed by this congregation, but also make it the work that gives you great joy and the desires of your heart. If not, you may find there are 2 of you, and one of you will be mad at the other one. Wake up your senses, as Reverend Mickelson encouraged us to do. Watch the movies in your mind that will find the beauty in the earth, the joy in service, and the fun in living a good life. Although you may not be as ecstatic as I am in delivering this message, please know that I am most grateful for the opportunity to experience the ecstasy of presumption. And that is the end of my talk.
Good morning, everyone. This is a Cat Stevens song called On the Road to Find Out. Well, I left my happy home to see what I could find out. I left my folk and friends with the aim to clear my mind out. I hit the rowdy road, many kinds I met there, many stories told me of the way to get there. So on and on I go, seconds tick the time out, so much left to know, and I'm on the road to find out. Well, in the end I'll know, but on the way I wander through descending snow, through the frost and thunder. I listen to the wind come howl, telling me I have to hurry. Listen to the robin song, saying not to worry. And on I go, seconds tick the time out, so much left to know. Hey, I'm on the road to find out. Found myself alone, hoping someone would miss me. Thinking about my home and the last woman to kiss me. Sometimes you have to moan, nothing seems to suit ya. Nevertheless, you know you're locked towards the future. And on I go, seconds tick the time out, so much left to know, and I'm on the road to find out. Then I found my head one day when I wasn't even trying. And here I have to say, 'cause there ain't no use in lying. Yes, the answer lies within. Why not take a look now? Kick out the devil's sin. Pick up a good book now. Yes, the answer lies within. Why not take a look now? Kick out the devil's sin. Pick up a good book now. Take care, everybody.
Thanks to you, Reverend Jobe, for your guidance, experience, and wisdom this morning. We are very grateful for your words today, and we are grateful for the musical reflection from Mike Alec. And now for a few announcements. If you are a visitor to today's service, welcome. I'm so glad you chose to give our virtual service a try. If you like what you've seen and heard so far, and are wondering how to stay connected with us, please reach out to our membership chair, Linda Heidenberg. Her email address may be found at the bottom of the screen. Please also check the weekly newsletter for a link to our Friday afternoon cocktail parties delivered via Zoom. Not getting the newsletter? Well, please contact Regina Burchett, its editor-in-chief, or Linda Heidenberg. Alas, there's no practical way to pass a basket in a virtual service, but we do appreciate members for keeping current on their pledges. We want to be ready to resume full speed when something closer to normal life returns. Look for the mailing address for your gifts in the newsletter. We strongly encourage members and friends to continue staying in touch with each other by phone, text, email, Skype, Zoom, whatever and whenever possible. It's really important that we put in the extra effort to sustain the deep bonds our community has formed and is forming. I thank you for spending this hour with us today, and leave you today with the hopeful words of Paul Robeson. Sorrow will one day turn to joy. All that breaks the heart and oppresses the soul will one day give place to peace and understanding, and everyone will be free. Go in peace.
Do you know how much you are loved? Do you know how much you are loved? Have you seen the stars shining in the night sky up above? Do you know how much you are loved? It's an ace in the hole that won't ever grow old. Do you know how much you are loved? You can feel it in the rain, you can feel it in the sun. You can play it like a game, you can play it just for fun. Do you know how much you are loved? And when the day is over and you've forgotten what is true, you can light a field of clover and let the love roll over you. Dear Travis Smith got tangled in a fight not long back. They were only using words, but it felt like an attack. The guy was angry with complaints, so full of shame. My friend lost his joy, but then remembered from whence he came. You know how much you are loved. He turned to his sweetheart and told the truth like hand in glove. He said that man's got no idea how much he's loved. You know how much you are loved. How much you are loved. Have you seen the stars shining in the night sky up above? Do you know how much